Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this fireside chat on ensuring high availability and security of data in times of flux. There have been few organizational priorities of more importance than business resilience in 2020. Against the backdrop of a global pandemic that completely upended carefully thought out annual plans and initiatives, COVID 19 has forced organizations to re-evaluate priorities and focus resources on solutions that empower their organization's continued success. We saw firsthand the value of data rise as organizations sought to enhance security and management for data being created, stored, and shared in more places and ways than ever before. Going forward, the ability to unlock the value of data, rapidly adapt to changing demands, and delight customers will increasingly be determined by cloud strategy. In this fireside chat today, we have with us two senior enterprise technology leaders who will focus on how IT decision makers can build a successful data management strategy leading to competitive advantage. So without any more ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Shankar Narayanan Raghavan, CTO and Data Officer, India First Life Insurance, and Mr. Bhaskar Sirohi, Director Global Solutions Architect, Dhruva. Welcome to this session, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks, Ishwendra. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us here.
Great. Let me start with Mr. Shankar. Sir, being the youngest life insurance company in the industry, India First Life's focus has always been more on using technology, which forms the enabler, making all functions, processes, and customer services smooth. India First Life was the first insurer to start with paperless onboarding of customers 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong. Efficiency, productivity, and predictability are mantras behind models that India First Life creates. What role has the cloud played in enterprise backup, data protection, and management at India First Life? And how have the stakes of data protection been raised in this era of COVID-19? Your thoughts, sir.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ishwendra, for this question. Yes, new customer onboarding is an important process in any business. Insurance being a regulated industry, it becomes very important that adherence of process is key to us. We have a digital process right from the lead generation to issuance. Given the need of agility in whatever we do, in my view, I have a very strong view on this. And I feel that cloud plays an important role. According to me, I think gone are the days where cloud is seen only as an extensible infrastructure. Correct. It is beyond that. It offers extensible infrastructure, but it also offers various services, I think, which goes beyond, which we can't even think of now, correct? And various things, whether I think people don't consider even application refactoring, modernization, uptime, backup, services on data protection, various things are available today, which in premises, we may have to have various solutions in place. But these kinds of things comes at with good agility for you, and you can adapt to it very, very seamlessly and very quickly too. That's why I feel cloud plays an important role. I think with this very strong view on the cloud, we have started our journey in cloud, correct? And which will get accelerated in the coming days, for sure. What we have done is that maybe the initial stuff is all about on the data protection, wherever we use AI for us to understand whatever the data which is being submitted by the customers. That's one thing which we started with the cloud. Rest of the things is going to follow. Sure. As regards to data protection, I suppose the second part of the question where is there an increase in due to data protection during COVID times? Yes, certainly. There is an increased awareness, which is helping in terms of customer uptake for all digital verification, whether it is eKYC, CKYC, or video KYC, etc. Correct. I'm absolutely confident that some of these central repository verification initiatives like eKYC, CKYC helps us not only complying with the process, but also will help in using the data available but not spreading across. That way, I think the protection will also become strengthened and usage will also improve. This is my
Sure. Wonderful. So Bhaskar, like we heard Mr. Shankar talk about, he really has strong perspective on cloud, and he says, delivers really strong benefits for businesses. what role do you think can cloud play in enterprise backup, data protection, and management? And what's the strategy to bring about simplicity and scale of the cloud to enterprise backup and data management?
That's a great question. And I would add to what Mr. Shankar said, right? If you look at cloud, right, depends, first of all, how you look at cloud. But I think there should be only one view going forward, how you look at a cloud, like whether people call it private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud. I generally look at a cloud from a perspective like, does it meet my business requirements, right? Now, coming back to your question, like how cloud can play a role in data protection itself, right? If you see in past 20-25 years, how applications were being designed or data was being generated, that was mostly within the data center, right? Or a colo-location, right? And that has now started moving more towards cloud. So now you're building applications, you're generating data in the cloud itself. And all those data protection tools which were available earlier do not basically scale for your cloud workloads. So number one challenge you have is that you have a new type of application, you're generating data in cloud, which has a different security model, right? And has a different scalability model as well. Now with the cloud, the benefit is that cloud helps you scale very well. Clouds offer you a very different security paradigm as well. It also offers you visibility. So the applications like Druva, which has been designed natively in cloud, our foremost focus has always been on visibility. You might have multiple data centers, you might have multiple clouds, but at the end of the day, you want to see where my data is, what my data is, how am I using my data, who is using my data, how my data is growing. And these are all the challenges which can be solved on cloud very quickly because it's scalable and it gives you so much power right into the user's hand that they can use it as they like, rather than waiting for hardware to be shipped to you and all those challenges which comes being on premises.
Sure, Bhaskar. Thanks for those inputs. And definitely, as you said, cloud solves lots of challenges. Coming back to Shankar, sir, it is crucial to maintain access to systems, support, and implementations, as well as maintaining the operations without disruption. This is especially true since the start of COVID, when a lot of employees were working from home. So in other words, IT leaders will have to build availability, resilience, and disaster recovery across all their locations. What do you feel is the best strategy for building these into the business?
Yeah, you mentioned about three things: availability, resilience, and disaster recovery. Correct. I feel it has got a parallel three components. Correct. People, process, and infrastructure. Correct. Which obviously needs to be supported by investment. I think Bhaskar mentioned clearly. One is we may have different clouds, multi-cloud, various, but it has to be on business requirements. So I think based on the business needs, the first and foremost thing what one has to have in strategy is the categorization of the systems and processes. So you need to categorize it whether it is something like critical or non-critical. Right? That can be when I say non-critical, it's needed, but it is not something which on with a very high or very less RTO, right? And with the resulting infrastructure to take care of. I think the pandemic not only tested the availability, correct, and resilience. It has become the DR part of it has become an integral part of every business now, correct? And in the regulated business like us, disaster recovery is very, very important. So the key, like I mentioned, business requirements, identify the processes, systems, and the criticality, and have the infrastructure part of it, and make sure that yes, I like Bhaskar mentioned. I think this is where the scale and other things going to come in. When you plan for a DR, you don't plan for a full fledged what do you call performance or the capability or capacity and everything. Right? So it will scale up. You will have an RTO, RPO which will meet, but the scale up happens only when it's needed. So that scale, when it is part of cloud, you can expand it very easily.
Sure.
That is also something which needs to be built into the strategy.
Absolutely. Great. So Bhaskar, your thoughts, because the pandemic has highlighted even more the importance of data. How do you think enterprise technology leaders can protect and ensure availability of data distributed across data centers, cloud applications, and endpoints?
That's a great question, Yashwendra. So if you look over the period of time, right, organizations knowingly or unknowingly have built silos of data, right? And these are getting built, or you can say islands of data. These are getting built because of their own processes, their own requirements. Nothing to blame to them. Those departments have needs, so they either copy data or they create multiple copies of data, right? So, and this data is siloed, right? So, one of the risks which the organization basically have is when you have so many silos of data is that you lose visibility. And once you lose visibility, it becomes a security risk. And there are other things around cost management which comes into play as well, right? So how can enterprises protect themselves or protect this data from any disaster, right? One of the things they can do is they can look at certain SaaS applications, like which can come into picture and basically make sure that they can give you a single visibility into all your data and give you a data protection which is scalable, which is multi-region. So which means that if you are a company which is or organization which is spread across the globe, if you have operations there, so this solution should be able to come and protect you in those regions as well, right? Nowadays, if you see, every region has a data localization or data residency, as we call it, requirement. So your backup solution should meet that requirement as well. So there are certain characteristics, if you might play, which are very necessary. But in my mind, this number one thing is to reduce those silos and bring that data together. You'll still have silos, but you have to reduce them. Otherwise, the cost goes up and the security risk is also there.
Sure.
I think I want to add one more point to that. Correct. I mentioned about data silos, which is a very, very important aspect. Correct. Business as we grow, we create various small data repositories, but it's a very important point. And that's where I think this kind of SaaS applications or with data lakes, whatever you are going to have, I think you can bring it in one place. Then things can help the business in a better way. That's a very important. I think people have started adapting to this kind of stuff, but I think it has to see a good uptake.
Absolutely. Definitely, sir. Great. So, sir, Shankar sir, moving on, technology experts are combating a pandemic of a different variety as ransomware attacks are spiking and crippling organizations of all sizes. What are the best practices that India First Life has implemented to ensure data integrity and availability, operational security, and accelerated recovery?
Yeah, I think it's not only about us, correct? This threat applies to all. I think each and every individual working in the system should ensure that the unknown links are not clicked or attachments from unknown sender are not opened when it comes to ransomware, correct? But there are various threats which are all there, but I'm very specific to ransomware is what I'm talking about. Yeah. To your specific question, I think on backup, I think apart from opting for the new tech-based backups, correct, which gives you the ransomware protection or which gives you zero-day trust-based backup with reduced RTO and RPO, I will still feel that maybe here I'm just slightly debating my thinking on adapting to cloud, but I will say that in addition to whatever it is, I think I'll also have an old time-tested traditional way because we have to make sure that the business gets that kind of comfort, correct? So this comfort, I think, comes from the old traditional ways, in addition to the tech-based, new tech-based backups, what are available today. And that is what we have adapted. This is what we are into today, correct? We have a convergence of both new approach as well as the traditional approach.
Okay, wonderful. So Bhaskar, do you agree with Shankar sir's approach there, marrying the traditional and the modern in countering ransomware?
Absolutely. I think, today, if you look at the ransomware pandemic, as you called it, right? It is, if I call in military terms, it has the biggest blast radius when it impacts a particular organization, right? If a user deletes a file, you can recover, right? And the blast radius is just to that particular user only. But when a ransomware attack happens, it stops your business operations, right? And if the news leaks, it basically goes and impacts your brand image, right? And then you have to go and recover because you have to bring your operations back alive, right? What we have seen and what we prescribe to our customers today is definitely select a solution which gives you a zero trust architecture, right? The second thing which I recommend to my customers is look for an offsite copy of your backup, right? So if you're maintaining your backup copy and your production copies together, you will end up in a situation because they're sharing the network, they're sharing the resources, that your backup copies might get impacted. So one thing we did at Drupa was when we were designing our solution was that we went completely serverless, which meant that we do not have an operating environment for a ransomware to come and operate in our cloud, right? Zero trust architecture, what we implemented, right? The way we handle the keys today, that even we don't have access to the encryption keys. So someone to hack into our systems is very difficult. And the third thing I would say, which any organization needs when they try to do a recovery, is to have a visibility. I've seen many scenarios wherein when a ransomware attack happens, the admin will go and recover the backup copy. But guess what? The ransomware was actually in dormant state in the backup copy. So when you recovered it back, you got reinfected, right? So you don't want, it's like, I remember like taking my kid to the doctor and he had like sore throat. And the first thing they said, though, get rid of the toothbrush. I was like, why the toothbrush? And she explained like, hey, as a kid gets well, the toothbrush is going to get and reinfect. So always remember like that toothbrush example I give to all my customers, that you don't want to get reinfected because of your backup copy. So having that visibility, having that confidence that I can go and scan my backups, can I go and create a curated snapshot through which I can recover the data which is completely uninfected. So that is something, these are the three properties which I typically say that you have to have. Now, the mechanics, like how you do it, are secondary, but you have to look at this, that if you don't have these, you're risking your entire ransomware recovery runbook. That's what I call it. So you have a runbook, you play it, and you need to know where, at what point you have the risk of getting the ransomware back.
The toothbrush example is a fantastic
really good
one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Great. So final question to you, Shankar sir. What does a future-proof backup and data protection strategy look like to you? Especially, how it can impact productivity, customer experience, and ultimately revenue growth for India First Life. And what do you feel are the areas of improvement, if any, there?
I think, most of the times, I think the questions which come up is on the investment, correct? But I feel that backup is like an insurance, and we are in an insurance business, correct? It helps us when there is a need. And so I may be sometimes there is no question of is there under insurance or over insurance, correct? So in this also, some may say that it's like we are treating things in a very, very over protective way. But I feel there is no question. It's all about business, correct? I feel that this is my business and I need to protect it, and this is all the things which is needed. I think one is data encryption, not only at rest and motion is needed. Next one is, in addition to that, like I mentioned, on-premise backup applications. I will go for this hybrid backup, which is available in cloud as well as on-premise. And in the whatever backup I'm going to go for, I think I'll just go for this zero trust based backup with near zero RTO. Correct. That is important. Along with the traditional ways, what I mentioned is what I think is important for us to look at almost future proofing. Correct.
Okay, wonderful. So Bhaskar, would you like to add to what Shankar sir just said? And what do you feel are some of the best practices for organizations as they build a future-proof backup and data protection strategy? And how can they impact productivity, customer experience, and ultimately revenue growth through all this?
That's a great question and great points by Mr. Shankar. I'll just add to them, right? See, I generally believe, and this is my strongest point I tell my customers, right? Your backup is determined by a restore. You basically define how you want to recover. And that's what Mr. Shankar was saying, that RTO and RPO, right? These are two of my favorite words, which I always utter to my customers, saying that, hey, do you understand your RTO and RPO, right? That's where your best practice starts originating, right? But some of the things which I tell my customers as well is that try to look at it from a cost perspective as well, right? One of the benefits of being in cloud, it's a consumption-based model, right? So you pay for what you consume. There is no capacity waste. So that's another best practice if you look at it from a cost perspective, which comes into play as well, right? You should also look at from a future perspective, right? Today, you're using data center. If you're going to go to platform as a service, or you're going to infrastructure as a service, or if you're going and diversifying into multiple clouds, how do you protect those, right? So some of your best practices should be very futuristic looking. Like if I'm migrating my workloads, and they should also work in tandem. Let's say if you are basically scaling down your data center and moving to cloud, or it should also look at from a perspective like a ransomware attack happens, right? So where do I do my recovery? Can I use cloud to do my recovery? which are great options, and they can form a part of like your response to a ransomware or to an event itself, right? So those are some of the best practices I share with my customers.
Sure. Great. We've had a wonderful discussion, gentlemen, but unfortunately, that's all we have time for. So, to conclude the discussion, the pandemic and possibilities of an emergence in the coming months has forced organizations across India to reevaluate the health of their data, potential security vulnerabilities, and their level of preparedness. Cloud data protection will play a pivotal role in this journey. With this, we come to the end of this session. Thanks once again, Mr. Shankar and Bhaskar, and thanks viewers for patiently watching us. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Yashwendra. Thank you, Mr. Shankar.
Thanks, Yash and Bhaskar. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir.